Hey girl, hey, good morning everyone. Well, I have about a half an hour before I have to leave for my studio. So, just having my morning coffee and cigarette, I guess. And this. So, while I was in the Virgin Islands, I did something really smart, which was trade for some services to have someone paint all my nails so that I would have everything painted and out and in order. So when someone asks for a color, I can just go, oh, there's number 34. Let me go to 34. Well, they were so lovely displayed in this book. And yesterday, when I went to go put these books up in my closet, they came tumbling down. So then I didn't know where anything went. And then I got the idea that maybe I want them in order of all the shades. So all the red together, all the pinks together, all the purples together, all the blues together, whatever. But this is like torture to me. So yeah, it's rough up in these streets because I have no choice but to get this done this weekend. I have a feeling I will be working on this afternoon. And then this evening I have plans, and then I will be back at it again tomorrow. So, torture, okay? Torture. But speaking in this, I was sitting here thinking about like how resilient we are as women. And sometimes I think we take that resiliency as like, of course, we're like, oh, we're so strong, and we are so strong. But just because we're resilient and just because we're strong, we don't always have to like put ourselves in positions of that strength. I think there is a time not to be like weak, but there's times that we are going to come across situations that we don't need to be resilient in anymore. We need to remove ourselves, stop that situation, leave that situation, no longer allow that situation. So I guess my message today would be, if you find yourself in a place where you're trying to be resilient and strong, maybe relook at that situation and see if it's actually a scenario that you have to be strong in, or if it's a scenario that you can walk away from and reserve that strength for another time, and reserve that energy and that resilience for another period of time in your life that is bound to come up. I don't know, just being led to kind of tell you guys that. And so I thought I guess I'll pull a card. I don't know. I was just sitting here thinking about resiliency and that, and maybe we just need some direction for the collective today. I don't know. But I do want to see what Goddess comes up for us. And let's see what we need to know today, ladies, for our highest good. Seems appropriate. I know that I have a lot of women in my life who are in a very, very good place, and that feels amazing. And I have other women in my life that are struggling, and that's how it's always going to be, right? I mean, we live in waves. Things can be like super high and good, and then we get hit with a bunch of bullshit. And that happens all the time. That's where our strength and resiliency comes from. And that's a good thing. But there's some situations and there's some scenarios that it doesn't matter how strong and resilient you are, because universe is going to push you and kick your butt into the right direction. And we had a lot of talk about that last night, that universe isn't playing with us anymore. And we will get uncomfortable. We are being forced to be uncomfortable. We are being forced to look at our situations. I said a lot of that. I thought a lot about that during COVID, because there were so many of our relationships that didn't make it through there. And I think a lot of that is that we had the time and we were taking the time and we had the visualization, because now we're sitting in it every day, to recognize that maybe our situation isn't the best for us. And I think this year we're kind of in a place that we're like, wow, okay, I'm starting to really see what's not good for me, and I'm not liking it. And I want to make some changes. And this year, I think we are running into those changes that are just like the after effect of us recognizing that the situations that we're in, whether it be like relationships or jobs or family life or where we're living, is not serving us. And this year, we're kind of in a place of picking up those pieces that universe just ripped the rug up from under us on. And we're trying to put it all back together. And in doing that, I think the number one thing we need to look at is our worth, and looking inside of us and looking to see within where we should be. And a lot of us know, right? I find that a lot of times it's not so much about, getting the answers to something, because we don't know the answer, right? There's lots of times where we're not in a space where we're like, oh, I just don't know what to do. We say we just don't know what to do. But the truth is we know what to do, but we don't know how to do it. Or we don't have the strength, or we don't think we have the strength, or we don't think we have the power, because we're too scared to make those decisions. And we're too scared to make those choices because of the fear of what will happen after. So instead, we live in this uncomfortableness of something isn't right. And when we're living in that uncomfortableness, we are sick. We could be sick physically. We can be sick emotionally. And that sickness makes it harder for us to make decisions for ourselves that are healthy for ourselves, because we're sick and we're living in sickness, and we recognize we're living in sickness. So if you're in that place right now, I would encourage you to look at your situation as a whole. See what is really out there that is serving you, because there's a lot serving you. Okay, our lives are exciting, our lives are fun, there's abundance out here. And so it's very easy to recognize what's good, as easy as it is to recognize what's not. And I would try to start looking at these things that aren't serving you. And if you can't pull them all away, you can't pluck out the big ones, right? You'll have big ones that you're like, whoa, definitely not serving me. Definitely not serving me. And then you're going to have some other ones that are like really not serving you, but you're like, but I don't really think they're causing me too big of a problem. They're just kind of like hanging on there. And maybe start with those. And if you start with these smaller things that aren't serving you, and you start to course correct and get that confidence that releasing them and removing them does to you, you'll be able to tackle these bigger things. You'll be able to recognize them faster. And then once you've released yourself of them, you're now able to recognize them up front when they come to you again. And it'll be easier for you to walk away. And it'll be easier for you to make a decision on whether or not that relationship with that person, whether it be romantic or not, is actually serving your higher good. So that is my message for you today. Is I'm not saying release things today. I'm saying take a look at things today. Take a few minutes, a few moments, and, don't be afraid to write these things down. I mean, it's the same way why, everybody asks me, I lost a lot of weight a couple years ago, and I've continued to maintain, and I'm trying to lose again. And everybody asks me like, oh my God, what did you do? And I start to tell them what I did. And as soon as I get two in, it's like, yeah, no, I can't do all that. And the thing is that sometimes it takes a lot to get to where we want to be. Sometimes you have to do more than one thing to get to your goal. And you have to be committed to do that. You have to work at it. We can't just like wish things to be better. It doesn't always work that way. It's a matter of, and just to go back, one of the things that I had to do was write everything down. And I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I can't write all this down. This is too much. Nobody wants to keep track of freaking a tablespoon of dressing and a half a, tablespoon of oil, and then, some mayonnaise later and all that. It was just like too much. And then when I went to speak to my person who I was being accountable to, I started putting out chunks. So it was like, no, you're putting too much detail. Just write, your meat, your vegetable, your fruit. You don't have to write out all the idiosyncrasies of it, right? So maybe start with writing out big things, right? Like if you know that like your relationship is killing you right now, write that person's name down. You don't necessarily need to write down everything that is wrong with that situation. Just write the name. And then write the next thing. Maybe it's work. Maybe it's, your boyfriend, your partner, your girlfriend. Like write the big chunks down. And then let's break those chunks down and start to feel what's manageable for you. And as you start to do this, you're going to see that like, when you write things and you start to actually write it down, it becomes more real and it becomes a situation that you feel the responsibility to take care of, or speak them out loud. I mean, I've been doing a lot of these videos because it's easier for me to speak out loud, and it's okay to do something like this on your own and in your videos and not post them, not play them. Sometimes you don't even have to listen to them back. But I think we need to step out of just being strong and just being resilient. And we need to step into a space of correction and actually taking action on some of this stuff. Because I promise you that your life wasn't intended to live in that. So what's going to happen is things are going to force you to make those decisions. And then you're going to feel even more out of control than where you're at right now. And it is a much better place to be in when you are making those decisions for yourself and not dealing with the aftermath of what it is to have those decisions to make choices for you. So let's see what Goddess comes out today. Because I would love to pull for you girls. And I'm sure we'll get a message that we all need to hear. Okay. Lostre. She is the goddess of new beginnings. She came up reverse. I'll let you see her. Which means she has a alignment message for us. So, our message today, ladies. Look to the potential hidden in promising connections and opportunities. The difficulty arises when you think you already know how something will go. You might do something prematurely or miss an amazing experience that's right in front of you because you're looking in another direction. The real lesson is not in whether something works out, but in how you manage your curiosity so you can experience something new. Life is for learning. And right now, your alignment task is to be with what is, which is perfect as it is. Look at the lessons in your life and how they are repeating. You will find that when you come to understand them, you'll know why your current situation happened. Everything has a purpose for new life. Even disappointments can turn into miracles. Trust that the goddess of the dawn, Eostre, will bring light and hope in your heart for good cause. Even if it's different from what you expect, it's always beautiful. And I think that just, of course, speaks to what I was just talking about, and managing your curiosity and your curiosity of what's going to happen, and planning it and aligning it, you know? So be with what is, which is perfect as it is. And just see where you're at. And when it says it's perfect for as it is, that doesn't mean that your situation is perfect. It means that your situation is perfect as it is to put you into the direction that you need to be. So if you find that you're unhappy, then your situation is perfect because your situation is telling you you're unhappy, which is a perfect way to show you that you may need to get out of it. So take that with some, some feedback, I guess, and recognize where you are and see how that whole process kind of works for you today. And I hope that card resonated with you. I hope it spoke to you. And I am definitely looking forward to continuing doing this for us. So I hope everybody has an amazing day. I know this was a really long video, but if you made it through, congratulations. And enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your weekend, as I will. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.